Hello, everyone, and welcome to Divorced Heroes. I am the divorced hero in the studio, like always, with my very good friend, the victorious one.
Hello, peoples. We're back. We are always back.
Divorce Thursday.
Divorce Thursdays, Divorce Heroes Thursdays.
So before we get into our episode, we're gonna do a disclaimer real quick. Uh, we are not reporters. We don't report. We are just a platform. Anybody that comes onto our platform, they're speaking on a subjective matter, something that went on in their life, their perspective through their eyes. We don't do any reporting where we do fact checking because there's no way for us to fact check someone's perspective.
So he said, she said.
Exactly. What we do is we give someone the platform, we listen to their story, we get an overview of their story, and then we'll give them the platform for them to come on and tell their story. If someone doesn't agree with said story, they can reach out to us. We can give them the platform for them to come out and say their side, their piece. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, bro, like we're saying, it's a platform, right? People come on here, say their stories, even though the ones that write in, they're talking about their experiences. So all we're doing is giving them the platform, and the responses and the emotions that are going on, they're real emotions. So it's like we're not trying to target nobody. We're not trying to attack anyone. It's that's why we keep everything on a no name basis. There's never any names, locations, things like that. So we don't want anyone to feel attacked or like it's about them. It's not personalized. It's very generalized. So with that being said, it's only a platform, and just continue to treat it like that, right?
And we're never going to touch this matter again. It's dead issue. We're sorry if we offended anyone or if our guest offended anyone, but that's just what it is. If you want to reach out to us and come on and tell your side of the story, go ahead and do so. With that being said, we're going to jump right into our hey what ups for this episode. We're going to give a big hey what up to Polly's Project. It's an organization that works with autistic kids.
Yeah, so Polly's Project, man, they always give back to the community. Also, Skid Row, he's always giving back to the less fortunate, via music, food, clothing, helping people get into homes and shelters. So shout out, hey, what up to Polly's Project and everything he does.
On Instagram at Polly's Project.
Yes, sir. Second one is who?
At Long Beach Carlos.
Oh, man, you guys from Long Beach. If you don't know who Long Beach Carlos is, then you're not from Long Beach. Long Beach Carlos is almost like the mayor of Long Beach, but he's not. So he's always doing all kinds of things, events, always trying to get back to the community. One of the streetest dude you'll ever meet, but at the same time, he has a kind heart, and he's also a divorcee, so he's always has a lot of good input, and he listens to our show, and he appreciates what we're doing because he went through it also, and there was nothing like this when he was going through it. So
at Long Beach Carlos at Instagram. Make sure you check him out. And last but not least, big hey what up to Danny Trejo Machete for no damn reason.
Damn reason, right? Because Machete don't do divorce.
So our episode is on co-parenting.
Yeah.
This one is going to be pretty cut and dry, hopefully.
And it's going to be co-parenting for two views, right?
If you get along.
If you get along, no courts allowed, and then with the court in your business.
If you don't, which most divorces don't get along. They start off amicably and then they end up somewhere down the line being all fucked up. So when you're going to co-parent, communication is the key, number one. Remember, if you go back to some of our episodes where we talked about you have a window of opportunity where you can sit down and try to lay everything out. Get a pen and paper and you say, hey, how are we going to co-parent the children? If you're part of that, I don't know, maybe 15% of divorcers that end up getting along or try very hard to get along, and they understand that when they have children that the divorce is bigger than just them two, that it's going to affect their children. Get a piece of paper, write down the schedule, and this way you're both going to be able to put an input on your personal schedule with work. And, we got people that work shifts. We got, nurses that work shifts. You got police officers, or you just got your regular 9 to 5 guy that can never take the child to school and pick them up because they have to be on the road at 7 with, the traffic in California. So it's best for you to sit down, try to be as fair as possible, and remember your children. This is their livelihood. But children want to see both parents. They want to see the mom. They want to see the dad. Try to sit down, think about their schedule. Okay, from this time to this time, they go to school. Who's going to take them? Who can pick them up? Sometimes you're going to need extra help. My uncle is retired. He says he can pick them up. Or my mom lives with me. She says she can take them. You're going to need the community around you to help out because, you're splitting up the home.
Yeah.
Right? If you get along, try to avoid court. A court, you're going to get a judge. He's going to give out the percentage. He's going to say 20 to 80, 50, 50, whatever it is. They don't
95.5.
95.5 for the unfortunate. They don't take into consideration the schedule. They don't want to sit there and hear both sides say, well, I go to work at this time and I can only do. They don't care. They're going to say, this is what it is and figure it out.
You know what I noticed going to court, because I'm still going through it, right? The judge really doesn't care.
No, he doesn't.
I have a she. So she doesn't care to hear about it. She doesn't want to read anything, to be honest.
Right.
She's going to go based on what your attorney says and her attorney says. And she's going to take their word for it. So if your attorney's dropping the ball, I mean, that's already a bad sign. But really, let's go right back to, you just said try to be as amicable and fair, right?
Right.
Guys, this is your one shot. Your one shot to try to get as much time with your kids as you can. If you guys do sit down and go down the middle and decide, okay, it's going to be this and this, this and that, and you both think it's fair and you agree on it, get a notary and get it notarized. Get it notarized so you have something to present to the judge or to your attorney, whoever, when you go to, because you're going to have to go to court regardless of divorce.
If it ends up going bad.
But even though the divorce, you're going to have to go to court, right?
No, you don't. If you get along and you guys say, hey, we're going to keep court away out of this, then you don't have to go to court. Now,
think again, that might be the case at the beginning. Right?
At the beginning, yes.
If let's just say you move on, bro, you find this badass fine eye, and she's like, damn, she looks better than me.
And then it gets.
But if it's notarized, she can't go back on it. You guys agreed on it. It's on paper. It's signed. It's documented. It has a little stamp from this chick who went, went to Scrock and got her little degree, and so it's like a written document, right? Like you just did your lawyer's job for less than what they charge, like $50 or something like that.
A notary, yeah, something like that.
Very, very minimal. So please, this is your one shot. I didn't do it. She was trying to be like that with me at the beginning, but I was like, hell no, you ain't gonna get my kids after what you did. And now looking back, I kind of probably should have, but.
Well, if there was divorce back then.
If there was divorce back then, yes.
Maybe that would have, put some sense into you and said, hey,
I started talking to you before that.
I mean,
we can really reconnect.
If we go with what ifs, man, we'll be here all day, right?
But yes, a notary will go a long way. Those $50 are gonna save you a ton of headaches and stress and possibly even child support. Because if you guys go down the middle and it's 50-50, for the most part, you're going to pay 0 to very minimal, right?
Right. If you guys have cool heads, right, and you can sit down and be very fair and come up with a game plan. Ultimately, you need to understand that your children is the priority.
Yes.
Okay? It's bigger than you two. You guys, for whatever reason, decided to go separate ways. Think about your children's schedule, what's best for your children, their extracurricular activities, if your child is involved in,
see a pattern here? DivorcedHero, we talk a lot about communication and think about your kids first. So just so you guys understand, like it's not science, but it is.
Well, when you get the emotions involved and you start hating the other person or you start the name calling, all that goes out the window.
Right.
Right? So always try to be fair. This is if you can. Try to avoid the court because once you get to court, chances are you're going to have to get a lawyer, which lawyers are very expensive.
Very.
At the very least, you're going to have to go through a paralegal to do all your your legal work, and then you're leaving the court or the judge. You're putting your faith in their hands.
And they might be in a bad mood that fucking day. So.
They see thousands of cases.
Yeah.
So to them, it's black and white. This is what it is. Figure it out.
Like the last court I went to, I did it via Zoom, right?
Right.
And I'm watching this because I'm in my work and I'm watching on the phone. And there's this couple that comes up and they're talking about custody, and she's giving each one a chance to talk. Right? They didn't have lawyers. It was just them.
Right.
Did you get this? And did you do that? And she's accusing homeboy of doing something, right? And he's going like this the whole time, not even saying. Sir, can you please stop nodding your head? She's talking right now. She's like, as a matter of fact, go sit back in your chairs, and I'm gonna bring another case so you can see how it's done.
Wow.
We were the ones next, right? So I was like, shit. So yeah, dude, it's a headache.
If you're gonna go to court because you guys are just at each other's throat, there's a lot of emotions, and you guys basically hate each other, or sometimes it's just the other person wants to bring in and go to court. Yeah, you're in for a long year or 2 years
Or 4
or 4 years, right? If it's bad, first thing you're going to want to do is use the app Talking Parents. Talking Parents is an app that the court tells you to use when two parents cannot communicate in a civil matter. So the app is a database. We've talked about this before, and it records everything. It records everything that's being said so that you could present it to the judge if your ex is threatening to hurt you, harm you, whatever. Or if they say something and then they lie and they say, I've never said that.
Right. It stays on record. It can help you or it can hurt you, because if you respond bad on that thing, it's going to be documented.
Exactly. So mind your P's and Q's when you're on that app.
Usually what I tend to do is I'll open the message, I'll read it, and then I'll just kind of like let it linger for a little while.
So you can cool down.
Man, it's not always cordial, right? So I just got to cool down, and then I have to respond, and I have to like think of like big words that make sense and make me sound like I'm smart, and then I'll send it. But I'll rewrite it like 4 or 5 times, and I'll send it. Like I'll check. I tell my chick, hey, does this sound right? No. Okay, take this part out. Too much info. Not enough. Okay, send. So
a lot of stress.
It's a lot of stress, bro.
It's a lot of bullshit.
But then again, there's times where you could just read it and ignore it, like I just did right now.
Right.
She sent a message. I just read it. It's not an emergency. You don't have to respond. Sometimes no response is a better response.
Especially when it's something negative.
Yeah.
When it's something negative, don't pay no mind to it.
Yeah.
Right. Unfortunately, if you go to court, you have to follow the court order. If you don't follow the court order, then you get law enforcement involved. And that's a whole nother headache.
Big.
What does that have to do with a court order?
My ex got big boobs, and fucking it seems like she never gets in trouble when she breaks a court order.
Oh, damn it.
She doesn't pick up the kids on time or takes them to the right spot, and I call the cops and, oh sir, it's within reasonable time. What the? It's always something, bro. So
well, if that's the case, document it, and then next time you have a court, you present that to the judge.
That's the best thing you guys can do. Yes.
I don't have a clue what a judge can do or will do, but at that point, what can you do? There's nothing you can do.
No, what that really does, documentation. It's like once you get too many speeding tickets, right?
Right.
They start adding up and it causes attention. Okay, well now there's a pattern of you doing this, Mrs. So and so. So we're gonna have to do something about this. You're either gonna have to take some extra parenting classes.
Maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's not gonna be the best ride of your life, guys. I'm telling you right now. It's a two-way street that's not fair.
Once it's already established, whatever it is, whether it's through the court or outside of the court, you're gonna have to change your parenting style.
Yes.
If you're a father and you have daughters, you can't be that abrasive dad when you were when you were married, where you say, no little boys better be talking to you. You don't want to shut that door. You're going to push them away. Okay. You're going to have to be more understanding and make sure you keep that door open when, on all matters, all subject matter. If your daughter comes home, if your daughter comes home with a little flower, and you say, she's only 4 years old, and you say, "Hey, who gave you that flower?" She says, "Little Johnny did."
Johnny.
You're not gonna scare your daughter and say, "You tell that little asshole."
My bad. I did it.
Yeah, you don't want to do that, right? Because then next time your daughter has something to tell you, she's not gonna want to come to you and speak to you about it.
Right. Again, I feel like I'm being targeted right now. So I had to change my parenting skills. I'm a strict father because I feel we have to be nowadays, right? It's a fucked up world, bro.
And it's the way we grew up, right?
So
What we saw.
But my daughter came to me. She wanted me to meet this kid, right? Oh, he's a friend. He sent me a Valentine's card.
Right.
Oh, Vic would be like, "What the fuck? Fuck that fool!"
Yeah.
So I said, "All right." She told me, "Do you want to meet him?" So I had to humble myself. I said, "Yeah, I'll meet the guy." And when I met him, gave him a little hard time. Nothing major. Just
Right.
gave him that old Harper look and shit. And he was actually a cool kid, very studious. And I just told him, like, my daughter's not ready to date right now, right? She's not allowed to date. She's she's still at an age where she probably has like one more year to go.
Right.
He's like, "Oh, I understand, sir. I can wait." I said, "Can you wait?" I said, "What if there's a prettier girl that passes by right now and wants to go out with you? You still gonna wait?" No, yeah, I'm still gonna wait. I'm like, oh, come on, let's be honest. I said, "But look, man, I appreciate you coming to me. What I hope is that you guys do set some kind of foundation as friends, because that's even more important than just being boyfriend and girlfriend." I said, "And by the time she's ready to date, if you guys are still trying to date, cool. Now you know more about each other, and now you guys have a friendship and a foundation.
Right.
And you're not just a fling, that you
Right.
across the way." So that's something I would have never done before, and I had to change my ways, right? So same thing with the makeup and little crop tops. It's just, you know what?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's something that we kind of take a deep breath and say, but because
Could look better. I'm sorry. I'm like, dog, you're not going out like that. Come on, we gotta go fix you those bones. You got too many clumps on your eyelashes. Come on.
so you have to change your parenting style, because now it's just you in the house. It's no longer that your counterpart that's bouncing ideas off of you or is there to save the day when you're a little too tough. That the mom sometimes jumps in when it's the dad and says, "Hey, he's up. Like she's only this age or he's only this age." You have to check yourself.
You kind of have to be both parents in a sense.
Right. You have to have that balancing within yourself to not go off the deep end when something happens that you don't necessarily agree with. Right. So you have to change your parenting style. Take time, maybe even write it down, the things that bother you and what you can work on.
What works is actually speaking to your kids, communication.
Communications, right.
What irks you about me and what do you like?
Right.
Give me a list. Simple. Nothing too major.
Yeah.
Well, they gave me like 2 pages from that. But no, they were actually very receptive to that, and they told me some of the things that they don't like, and some of the things I could change immediately, some of the things I didn't know I was doing, and some things I need to work on.
Right.
That's the way I was raised. So I had to remember I'm not the same. They're not the same kids that I was, and I'm not my mom raising me.
Exactly.
So
and that's very important.
Bro, a lot of homework to do as a person, as a father or mother, right? As a parent, you got to do a lot of self-reflection and understand, like, I'm not my parent, and they are not me.
Right.
This is a whole different generation.
Totally different. Yeah, I understand that 100%.
Yeah, so that's very important, guys. Trust me, from someone that was trying to treat my kids like they were 4 and 5, and now they're 14 and 15. It's not the same.
It's not the same,
and it doesn't work.
Stick to the facts. When you're communicating with the other side, when you're going back and forth, you don't have to say too much information, right?
No, don't.
Stick. Oh, you know what? Before we say stick to the facts, let's go back. Never ever talk bad about the other parent.
Again, that's me.
Fellas, don't do that. I know that sometimes we're mad, we're angry, we're emotional because of whatever, and you're just hurting your child.
Go on your notes on your phone and just talk all the shit.
Yeah, call Divorce Heroes and let it all out.
Start a hotline where you talk shit. We're gonna be there standing by the whole time. We promise.
At the end of the day, no matter what that other parent did, that is still those children's parent. They still love them.
it took me almost 4 years to understand that. It really did. And I know you told me before, right? But I was
I
like,
told
fuck
you.
that, fuck that.
I told you, yes.
But seeing okay, to see my kids still be receptive towards the other parent
Right.
after the bullshit she did
Right.
helped me understand like they she can do no wrong in their eyes.
Right.
And it's like fuck, it's like if my kid went to prison, let's just let's knock on wood, right? But if for murder or something, I'm still gonna visit my kid.
Exactly. That's still your child.
That's still my
Right.
child. Like I'm not gonna justify what they did, but that's still my kid. So I see the same thing with the mom. Like, yeah, she's a dirtbag, but she's still my mom.
Exactly.
So it took me a long time, bro. So guys, if you can get over that hump sooner than later, it's gonna really save you a lot of heartache and drama and stress.
Yeah, don't talk bad about the other parent. All you're doing is you're venting, which you shouldn't be venting to a child anyway. You know, get divorce heroes. Shoot us a hey, what up, and you can call us. We'll sit on the phone with you if you need a vent, or you're a trusted friend, whoever. But don't vent to your child. Your child, you're talking badly about your child's idol, someone that they admire, someone that they look up to, someone that they love.
Not only that, not only all those. This is a part of them. So if you're talking shit about that other parent, you're talking shit about them, and that's
Right.
the way they see it. And I had to come to that conclusion. Like my kids are not only confused right now, and they're hurt, and they're just like, "What the fuck's really going on?" The minute I talk smack about their mom, they're taking it personal because like, well, shit, I came from her too.
Exactly.
So you're talking shit about me.
So avoid speaking badly about that other person. If you really dislike them, don't speak good about them, but just don't speak bad about them.
Right. Learn to just keep your comments to yourself. It's not going to help you. Honestly, and it doesn't even make you feel good at the end of the day. Like you can talk shit about that person, and it's like you're still pissed off and angry.
Right. And you're
Yeah, it doesn't come off your chest.
so now we go to stick to facts. When you do communicate with this person, just stick to facts. You don't have to
Don't over,
shoot some hey what ups with them and talk about your day.
don't overly express or give them information. Just keep it very minimal.
This is when it's toxic and you guys can't get along. You use that method that you were just talking about.
Gray rock method, guys. So there's a couple of little topics I want to touch on if I can find it right now. Hold on, let me look at the archives because I had it, but
That damn intern didn't show up today.
she didn't. But whatever. That's why she's not getting paid. So the Gray Rock Method, guys. There's a few. I'm not gonna read all of them. You guys can look it up. But it's called the Gray Rock Method, and there's some things you can do if it's a toxic relationship and you guys are talking, communicating over talking parents or just in person. Be brief when answering any questions. Right, very brief. Don't over discuss. Don't say too much. Keep details about your life private, and that's very important because, like I was telling my partner here, if you're showboating, right, even if it might not be showboating to you, but you're just overly expressing things, and she's not doing so well, guess what? You're gonna get the shit end of the stick because she's gonna take it on somebody. Avoid responding with emotion. That's an important one. We talk about this.
That's very important. Sometimes when you get that text message and maybe that other person's in a bad mood and you get that text, now if you quick to jump the gun and say something bad, now you're just going to create a whole week of bad shit.
Yep. Like I said, be factual, concise, and personal. So just keep everything very bland, very neutral. Don't put any extra on it. Let's see. Avoid talking about your life. That's the same as over explaining. And I think a big one is don't feed into any other drama because you're gonna get a lot of that shit. Just don't feed into it. Don't fall for it. But if you guys want to see more about that stuff, just look it up. The Gray Rock Method. You guys can look it up anywhere. Google. Siri might be able to tell you. Depends who you mess with. And yeah, dude, it's effective because a couple years ago it was a battle back and forth. Communication was just a battle.
Right. Another thing is you don't want to put your children in the middle of it. Okay. Nowadays, children have cell phones at 5, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
And sometimes as a parent, you feel it's easier just to communicate with your child and say, hey, tell your mom whatever, 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 right? You don't want to put that stress on the child. The child shouldn't have anything to do with when it comes to adult stuff. Now, if it's something simple like, hey, I'm going to pick you up at 7, let your mom know, or ask your mom if she can drop you off at 5 instead of 6, whatever it is, something simple like that it's a yes or no, cool. Yeah. But if it's something that you really need to speak to this person about, don't put that on your children. Your children are children. They don't understand this side and that side, the ups and downs. You're just adding stress to them. You're involving them in something that mentally they're not ready to be a part of.
My kid's therapist told me that every time my oldest, knows that we have court coming up, she's a stress ball for like.
Of course.
And I don't involve them in it, right? I really don't. But I just can't. I just found out they get a lot of their information from their mom. So this one's for you guys. All right. Man or woman, doesn't matter who. If you're an avid phone user and you don't like to text, but you like to use that speech to text
Right.
option, be mindful who's around you. So one thing I just found out is my other ex partner loves to talk smack on talking parents or text, but she, instead of texting me, she likes to do speech to text.
Right.
So not only is she talking shit out loud, but now the kids are hearing it. So I had a visit last weekend, right? I'm with the kids, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, is Mom still mad because X, Y, and Z?" I'm like, "Well, how did you know about that?" And she's like, "Oh, I overheard her talking about it. She was messaging me." That's part of co-parenting. Like, you don't want to put that extra stress on the kids, and there's a lot of things that you, as a parent, can be doing wrong that you don't think it's causing them stress, but it is.
Definitely. Something else that you don't want to do is you don't want to confront your kids. Sometimes your kids will see something that you did, and they're not okay with it.
Yeah.
Right. But they don't tell you for whatever reason. They don't feel it's their place. Maybe they're a little intimidated, but they tell the other parent.
Yeah.
Now the other parent brings it up to your attention.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is say, "Hey, you told your mom this and this." You don't want to do that. And I know sometimes the information doesn't get passed the right way. So you want to tell your side of the story and say, "Well, that's not what," or you want to tell your child, guys, don't add stress to your kids. Don't do that.
Remember,
okay. Yeah. Yeah. They're inexperienced with life. So if your ex does hit you up and say, "Hey, little Johnny mentioned to me that he saw you do this or he heard this and he wasn't very comfortable with it," don't confront little Johnny. Don't put him on the chopping block and say, "Wait, why would you tell your mom this and that?" Number one, you're going to hurt the relationship that little Johnny has with the other parent. Now little Johnny's going to think, "I can't go and confide with the other parent." And if they can't confide in you, who else are they going to confide in?
Yeah, so stupid friends who are dumber than them.
Exactly. So don't do that. Try to fix the situation, mitigate the situation as best as you can without confronting them.
And if the other parent is a time bomb too, and they don't express themselves the right way, and instead of asking you, "Hey, is it true that so and so happened?" and they start accusing you or just throwing all these accusations, it's okay to just step away.
Yeah.
Calm down, step away, go. I don't drink, but go have a drink, go get your Kool-Aid or whatever.
Oh, I just drink.
And then come back to it later when you're more calm. I'm like, okay, so, and one thing I always learn to say is, so if I hear you correctly, you said X, Y, Z.
Right.
Because now you're putting it back on them, right? And they're like, no, I didn't say that, or yeah, I did say that. And then you can start communicating. But please be mindful that, like, it's not gonna, you going back and forth is not gonna help.
It's not going to help. You're separated. You got divorced for a reason. It's because you cannot get on the same page with this other person. If you are lucky enough to be able to co-parent in peace, where you and the other person acknowledge that you and I can no longer be, on the same page romantically, but we have these children that we need to get, to adulthood. If you're that lucky where you start doing activities together, let's say you go, to dinner, or you start going to the recital or the football game, the little league game together, and you happen to be next to your ex partner, do not bring up bad memories. Do whatever you can to avoid the bad memories, what you did when you didn't wish her a happy birthday, or she didn't cook dinner, or you didn't take the trash, whatever it is. Why bring all that up?
Yeah.
You have to leave it in the past. Just put it away. You're here in the moment now. You're with your children now, and they need both of you to put on fake smiles and just get along.
It took a lot of therapy for me to get to this point too. I actually have an event. I got a graduation coming up, and I'm gonna be forced to be. I hopefully I'm not gonna have to sit next to her. It's a pretty big, space.
Right.
Just even after, I'm thinking about like even after taking pictures, and it's gonna be it's gonna be something.
It is, because on one hand, you don't want to cheat your child from the experience of having a picture of her big day, or his big day with both parents. You don't. But on the other side, like, I don't know if this is gonna work. There's a lot of things going on between
Well,
us.
I just went to a recital. She did a play, right?
Right.
And she did a play Wednesday and Friday. So their mom was gonna go Wednesday at 7, which is like the opening one,
The
right?
opening.
But she's like, "Oh, can you come at 4?" Which is their soft opening, which is like they're doing the play for their friends,
Right.
and the old me would have been like, "Nah, man, like, what do you mean?" Like, but I had to take into consideration, like, this kid's up there doing her thing. She already has the stress of learning her lines and
Right.
routine. The last thing she needs is mom and dad. Oh, they're causing a scene or mad dogging each other. So
Exactly.
I went to the 4 o'clock one, and that's why I know it's working for me, bro. The therapy, because like I said, the old thing would have been like, "Fuck that, I'm going at 7, homie." Shit, it's gonna be
Front and center.
towards me that out, homie. Like what? No, I humble myself. I went at 4, had a great time, saw her perform. She was actually happy to see me. Came out, after the play was done, she hugged me, we talked, and I said, she did a great job. So in a sense, she's more of an adult than I am because she's already kind of mitigating.
Right. Or trying to. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Exactly.
like that. I'm
Yeah.
trying to avoid issues. I know how mom is. I know how you are. You come at 4 because I know you have a more lenient schedule. She'll come at 7.
Right.
And so it is what it is, bro. Like things like that, those are corporate. That's really considered co-parenting to me too, because you're avoiding an issue for the sake of the kids.
Exactly. And remember this. This is bigger than you. You have children. Everyone knows that for a child to be successful, it needs all the tools available. And having a mom and dad in the same house is the best. If you cannot do it for whatever reason, okay, now try to co-parent so that you give your child all the tools and the confidence that it needs to go out and conquer the world. If the mom and dad are constantly fighting with each other, what's going to happen to that child? They're going to fall behind with school. They're going to start getting depressed. They're going to start having issues, trust issues, confidence issues. And then they turn to, God forbid, drugs or teenage pregnancies or.
And guys, let's be honest. All these things are real things. It's not. It's not. It happened in our times, and it's more lucrative now. Like honestly, it happens so much more than we. If we thought we had teenage pregnancies back then, bro,
Right.
it's happening way more now.
And with the whole social media, it feels like kids now today more than ever need the confidence to be able to step into the real world.
The real world, not the fake one they
So
watch.
so if we're not giving them that sense of security at home, even if you can't get along or you no longer are with the other parent, like, it's bigger than you. Think about your children. Hey, I need them to surpass what I did in this life. I need them to be better than me. And how can they be better than me? Well, it starts with the foundation at home.
Yeah.
It starts with us getting along, even if we have to put on fake smiles, even if we have to tolerate each other for an hour here and there. Like, let's do it. If you're lucky enough to get along with the co-parent,
Yeah.
then that's awesome, because you guys can bounce back and forth, right? And not only that, your children pay attention to that.
Yeah.
And you can tell your child, hey, I was on the phone with your mom and she told me this and this and this is going on. What's up with that?
Yeah.
So your child says, oh, damn,
Can't get away with it.
I can't get away with anything. They speak to each other. They're on the same page.
And please, people understand this. These kids will use anything as a tool to get away with anything, right? So if they know mom and dad don't talk, they're gonna use you against each other, and they do it now.
Right, because they're opportunists, right? Children look to the path of least resistance.
The best thing you can do as a man, I'm just speaking for men, right? Humble yourself, because I know it's hard for us to humble ourselves and just like taking the chin.
Right, because it's no longer about you.
Taking the chin, bro. It's about your kids, and just remember, it's temporary. It's not gonna be forever. One day they're gonna get old enough to really understand, like, shit, this man really wanted the best for me, and this person was just letting me do what I wanted,
Right.
and now I'm in the situation. Now, yes, it's important to have both parents, but sometimes the other parent isn't putting their A game, and you gotta really step it up. So with that being said, I really think as a man, you got to humble yourself and just really, whatever thought you have, challenge it and just be like, my kids.
Exactly. It's all about your kids. They didn't ask to be put into this world.
But then don't be a punk either and let them walk all over you. They will do that too.
All right, guys, with that being said, remember that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Don't stay still. You got to move forward. The darkness will end.
But you got to move. You can't stay there.
You got to move. You can't stay there. This world is filled with people that have gone through a divorce in situations just like you, and they are now okay. I promise you. If you guys feel this was useful, or you know anyone that's going through anything like this and they could benefit from listening to it, go ahead and send it to them. Follow us on Instagram. Check us out on Spotify. We are the Divorced Heroes. With that being said, see you guys next week.